Hello, everyone. This is Entrepreneurs of Faith, a Sunday episode of Monetization Nation. I'm Nathan Gwilliam, your host. In November 2020, Dave Ramsey's company bought $10 million of debt for 8,000 people from two private debt collection companies and completely forgave all of the debt with no strings attached. That's $10 million of debt completely forgiven. This is an inspiring example of a business giving an enormous amount of grace. In today's episode, we're going to explore how to be more graceful and give grace as a business. So what is grace? Grace is one of my favorite words. Grace is a gift of kindness and mercy we don't deserve. Justin Holcomb said, "Grace is the opposite of karma, which is all about getting what you deserve. Grace is getting what you don't deserve." We're familiar with and grateful for God's grace for us. Gresham Machen said, "The very center and core of the whole Bible is the doctrine of the grace of God." However, what role does grace play in the business world? Grace is not just something we receive from God, but it is also something He expects us to give to others as we strive to be more like Him. Colossians 4:6 teaches, "Let your speech be always with grace." Matthew 6:14 teaches, "For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you." Here's an example that happened to me this week. I have a daughter who is 17 years old and will be headed to college in another state in the fall. I want to make the best use possible of the time she's still living in our home. So I'm trying to take her on a one-on-one father-daughter date each week. As part of those dates, she gets to choose a treat. She loves the French fries from a restaurant named Freddy's, and that's the treat she chooses most frequently. A few nights ago, this daughter and I went on our date and drove to Freddy's for some fries. We ordered in the drive-thru, but as I was pulling up to the pickup window, I realized I'd left my wallet at home. I told the worker at the drive-thru window, expecting him to tell me he'd make fresh fries for me when I returned with my money. However, to my surprise, the Freddy's worker said he would give us the fries at no cost. Furthermore, he told us that they'd made two concretes, which are their frozen custards with mix-ins, for someone else and messed up the order. They asked us if we would like to also have those frozen desserts for free. My daughter quickly figured out how we could pay for them through Apple Pay, but Freddy's still didn't take our money. That Freddy's team extended grace to me in my forgetfulness. How do you think my daughter and I felt about Freddy's when we left? As we drove out of the Freddy's parking lot, we were already leaving them a great review. My daughter and I found a place to park, eat our food, and played a magical unicorns card game. What the Freddy's worker did wasn't really about French fries. That date with my daughter could have been a dud. However, thanks to the grace of the Freddy's team in Rexburg, Idaho, they helped turn our father-daughter date into something magical. Sometimes, companies use unfortunate firing situations as moments to belittle their departing team members. That does not need to be the case. I'm aware of one company who had an employee who had a series of financial crises, and the company loaned a substantial amount of money to her to help her get through that situation. Later, it became necessary to let that team member go. At that time, most of the money loaned to the employee had not been repaid. The company had the right to deduct the remaining borrowed amount from the team member's last payment. However, the company realized the team member would need those funds to survive as she searched for a new job. So the company completely forgave the remaining debt at the time they let her go. This is a great example of grace during a time an employee really needed some help. In a previous episode, I told the story of how I sold my Adoption.com business to the Gladney Center for Adoption. In the first board of directors meeting after that sale, we were scheduled to make a presentation about the plan for Adoption.com going forward. My presentation and the presentation of the Gladney CEO were both in one Google Slides file. And somehow, late the night before the board meeting, the file was completely deleted in a non-recoverable way. I let the Gladney CEO know, and our team worked through the night and up until the moment of the presentation to try to recreate as much of the presentation as we could from memory. The loss of the file was completely my fault, and it would have been very understandable for the CEO to lecture me about the importance of the board meeting and how I need to be more responsible about making backups. However, the only things I heard from the CEO and the rest of the Gladney team were completely supportive. They just wanted to know how they could help. That's an example of amazing grace extended to me when I didn't deserve it. Their kindness and grace motivates me to want to extend much more grace back to others who also mess up and make mistakes. Today, I saw a Facebook post about a man named Levante Dell, who was recently pulled over by a Westland, Michigan police officer because of the tint on his windows. Levante posted, "This stop was nothing like I thought it would be. He got my bleep and was walking back to the car and seen my daughter wasn't in the car seat. So he asked me to get out and speak with him. He asked why didn't she have one, and I told him all I've been through this year, like I barely making it because of these garnishments, and I really don't like asking people for stuff. Do you know this white police officer told me to follow him to Walmart on Ford Road, and he purchased my daughter a car seat with his own money. If you would have seen us in Walmart, you would have thought we were best friends. It was like night and day. You got me hella tats, walking side by side with a white officer, Westland at that. I've been calling all day trying to get his name because I was so in shock. I didn't even look at his name tag. Never judge a book by its cover. It's most definitely is some good guys left. I told him I never met an officer like you. He said, I'm just doing my job. What good would giving you a ticket do besides putting you further in the hole, making it harder on you to come up? That officer could have easily given a ticket, but instead he extended grace and helped with the highest priority of making sure that little girl is safe and the father knows that somebody cares about him and his family. Thank you so much, Levante, for sharing your inspiring story on Facebook. Our challenge for this week is to try to be a little more graceful in our businesses. Let's be a little more patient, forgive, ask for forgiveness, and be kind. Instead of always telling people what they're doing wrong when they already know it, maybe we can try to understand and help. When a customer or a vendor is in a hard financial situation, maybe we let them out of their annual contract when we don't have to. When a coworker drops the ball on something, maybe we express gratitude for how much they are juggling so well. Let's remember that we all have done many things wrong or been in difficult situations many times where we desperately need grace. How much more likely are we to receive grace if we're striving to extend grace to others? Let's also remember that everyone is going through challenges in their lives, and sometimes we're the angels that God is trying to send to help them. If this episode of Entrepreneurs of Faith resonated with you, please subscribe for free to Monetization Nation so you can receive Entrepreneurs of Faith each Sunday. Please subscribe to the Monetization e-magazine at monetizationnation.com/e-magazine. You can follow the Monetization Nation blog at monetizationnation.com/blog. You can subscribe to the Monetization Nation YouTube channel or podcast, or you can follow Monetization Nation on Instagram or Twitter. When have you seen businesses give grace? Please join our private Monetization Nation Facebook group and share your insights with other digital monetizers. Thank you for joining us for this episode. I hope you have a fabulous day.